Hello and welcome. My name is Alex Romero from the Glasso Learning Solutions. On this week's Genuine Learning blog, we will be discussing the Federal Data Transparency Act and the Joint Data Standards that were issued on August 22nd, 2024. The FDTA was enacted on December 23rd, 2022. It requires that the joint agencies issue a rule that sets the data standards. These standards will cover the collection of information that is received by each of the agencies. The joint rule setting the data standards is required to be finalized within 2 years of the enactment of the FDTA, which would be December 23rd, 2024. In order to meet this deadline, the agencies issued a proposed set of data standards open for public comment before issuing the final rule. The set of data standards is to be issued by 9 agencies jointly. Those agencies are the Security and Exchange Commission, the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the Department of the Treasury, the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, the Federal Housing Finance Agency, the National Credit Union Administration, and the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency. The proposed joint rule was issued in August 2024, with a comment period open until October 21st, 2024. The final rule is expected by the deadline of December 23rd, 2024. So what is the purpose of the Financial Data Transparency Act and the Joint Data Standards? Well, it will establish the technical standards for data that is submitted to the 9 joint agencies. It will promote interoperability with the agencies for the financial data that is collected by establishing common identifiers so that all the data that's collected for an entity can be matched across the agencies and to be easier for individuals to locate. Plus, it requires that the data sent to the agency to be of high quality, searchable, and machine readable. The proposed joint rule covers the following areas. The first box is collection of information. So the agencies propose to define the term collection of information as defined currently in the Paperwork Reduction Act of 1995. The definition that used in that act is already understood by the agencies and the public stakeholders. The next area is legal entity identifier. So this requires that the joint standards to include a common non-proprietary legal entity identifier that is available under an open license for all entities required to report to the agencies. The LEI is a global 20-character alphanumeric identifier that is agency specific. Other legal entity identifiers are proposed and can be commented on. The next area is other common identifiers. So in addition to the LEI, the agencies propose to establish further common identifiers. So this would include unique product identifier for swap and security-based swaps, financial instrument global identifier for financial instruments. The date fields would follow the ISO 8601, and that is the International Organization for Standardization. So we'll also use the ISO for country codes and also currency. For states, we'll be looking at the postal addressing standards, so CO for Colorado, CA for California, and so on. The last area that we're looking at is data transmission and schema, and the taxonomy format standards. So the extent practical, you need to render data fully searchable and machine readable. And this enables high quality data through schemas and ensuring that a data element or data asset exists to satisfy an underlying regulatory information collection requirement. And this needs to be consistently identified as such and also be non-proprietary or available under an open license. The data standards adopted by each implementing agency is going to be through their own respective agency-specific rulemaking, but it must take an effect within 2 years of the issuance of the final rule that was jointly issued. Individual agencies will issue rules adopting only applicable joint standards for certain collection of information under their purview after the joint standards are established. So really what this is meaning is that out of the 9 agencies, they will go through, they will look at the rules of the joint standards, and they will pick the ones that are applicable to how and what they receive for information. And then they will make their own rule saying we are going to be adopting this rule, this rule, and this rule from the joint standard rules. And that will have to be established within the 2 years of that final joint rule. So the proposed effective date for the joint final rule is going to be the first day of the next calendar quarter that begins at least 60 days after the final rule is published in the Federal Register. So what that really means is that if the final rule comes out on December 22nd, 2024, the effective date would be April 1st, 2025. So you get to there by taking December 22nd, 2024, adding in 60 days, which then takes you to February 20th, 2025. So the next quarter after that date would be April 1st, 2025. So our key takeaways from today is that if you want to submit a comment, that you need to do so by October 21st, 2024, and that we're expecting the final rule by December, and that agency-specific rules, if we meet that initial deadline in December 2024, the agency-specific ones will come out before December 2026. So if you're wanting to learn more or read the full proposed rule, you can download a copy of the joint rule from the NASDAQ website by following this link. Also, if you're going to want to comment, you'll want to go ahead and read and download this so that you have the full rules. And I did see that they have received quite a few comments already, so be sure to get yours in by the deadline. Thank you again so much for joining me today as we looked at the Financial Data Transparency Act Joint Data Standards.